Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Brian with Mountain Iron and Timber. So my experience with TYM, if you buy one of their tractors, be prepared to make payments on that tractor and not have it for 8-9 months. If you depend on having a machine for any purpose at your home, be it feeding animals, plowing snow, moving trees, whatever it is that you do with your machine, you need to be able to make other arrangements, such as buying another machine, just like I did. You got to have some deep pockets to do this. If you're buying a TYM, you can't buy one. You have to buy two. Why is it that Stony Ridge Farmer, he's no longer sponsored by TYM. He's no longer promoting it. That guy has almost 1 million subscribers. Arms Family Homestead, same thing. Again, they're over 1 million subscribers. They switched brands. Seems to be a trend of once these machines get some hours and some use on them, they begin to fall apart. They cross that rainbow bridge to dealer land where they stay for unknown amounts of time. Some for months, some, like mine, forever. Now, I get to go through the wonderful expense of adding chains to my skid steer so I can clear the driveway this winter. I mean, that's going to cost me $1,200, all because I have $1,500 in chains that are on my tractor that when I took it to the dealer, I don't get it back this year. That's what was purchased for snow removal. The TYM attorney experience. They're quick to respond when it's not used as a weapon. And I'm sure anybody that's ever dealt with attorneys or corporations or legal teams, you understand this. They're very slow when it benefits them. When they're trying to force something out of you, they just basically stop and wait. They don't have a vested dog in the fight either way, so it doesn't matter if this takes an hour to resolve or months to resolve. So their attorney is very good at stringing this out and just taking forever. They've just literally stopped talking to me. These are facts. This is what has happened thus far. There are a couple of things I want to add in here, so that way I can say, come on. A couple of things I want to add in here that I've done along the way to further my position in all of this. The brand ambassador of TYM made TYM corporate aware of this situation long ago. They knew all of this was coming. Matter of fact, they knew this was coming months before I ever posted my very first video. They knew that all of this was coming. Like I said, literally months before this. So let's pause for just a moment. I'm guessing that was in month 3, month 4, somewhere around that time. And then I started making videos when it was well beyond that. So thanks, TYM. I appreciate that. You've ignored this for, we're almost to a year. Getting back to where I shared this information with the brand ambassador, they laughed at it, didn't care. Did nothing. I literally waited 4 to 6 weeks after that exchange of messages before I posted my first video. They did nothing. Couldn't possibly care less. I've tried every possible means that I can do on my own. After this series of events, I want to formally... Calm down, killers. After this series of events, I want to formally change my position on TYM. I never told anybody what to buy, for brands, for anything. As of now, I'm not going to tell you what to buy. However, what I am going to say is don't buy TYM. What happens when the same situation happens to you? What about the literally hundreds of comments on the first 4 videos that talk about the exact same issues? They had one guy's machine for over a year, and this is just commonplace for TYM. It's so unbelievably frustrating. Now, something else I want to clear the air on. For all those chest-beating men out there screaming, if they did that to me, I'd be there at that dealer every single day. I'd be screaming and blah, blah, blah. So you're going to drive 3 hours, stand at a counter, threaten TYM employees all day to accomplish utterly nothing. Most likely you're going to end up in jail for disorderly conduct in public, all because TYM doesn't have the parts. This might make you feel better to say this. However, in practical application, it's not realistic. This is my little dog. This is Lincoln here. He's coming to check on me. So all of this has been kind of kept up with in real time. TYM is going to do this exact same thing to the next guy that falls into this. If nothing else, I'm just trying to prepare all of you that are getting hours on your TYMs and your machines are about to fail or fall apart. I'm letting you know the process in which you're going to need to take. I'm told directly from a representative of TYM that TYM has told its employees not to talk about this. So that's kind of the orders. They've basically issued a hush order to employees. These are all things that I really wish were mentioned to me when I bought this tractor. Here's what was left out of TYM's sales pitch. Here at TYM, we take your equipment for nearly a year. If you try to get a status update, how dare you? We will scream at you on the phone for even bothering us, for even asking. Then we're going to go completely silent, leave you totally in the dark for over 6 months. Wait until you have an audience of over 60,000 people, then stop any and all communication with you. What an excellent sales pitch. At least this one would be true. What I was told has been proven to all be lies. Here are some of them. We have a nationwide dealer network. Kind of. Take it anywhere to any dealer to get it fixed. I'm still kind of waiting. They left out the almost a year timeline of this. So yeah, I mean, I guess you could take it anywhere, but you're going to wait almost a year, just like I have. Parts are available. No, they're really not available. They're definitely not readily available. For the handful of you that say, well, you should document this, you should call this dealer, and if they don't have it, go to this dealer, and then maybe this one might have it. No, that's not really how this works. I'm not a mechanic. I'm not a parts guy. This is why I bought this new machine. So that way I wouldn't have to be the mechanic. That way I wouldn't have to be a parts guy. I don't get paid by TYM to do that. I paid for that when I bought their new equipment. That's exactly why you buy a piece of new equipment, is for the warranty. So if it breaks, I take it to the dealer. Then they fix it. TYM failed, period. This can't be argued here. I mean, this is... Uh-oh, boys are getting mad. Hey, Bogey. This is Lincoln's big brother. Go kill something. Sorry, you have to stare at his butt. This is Bogey. Currently, he's just over 160 pounds. He's a Armenian Gomper. This guy is a monster. Him and his brother are what keep our homestead up here safe from bears, mountain lions, anything that eats these guys. So we've never lost a chicken to a predator, so they've done a great job. So just to kind of run back through this, TYM has failed me. Tell me how that doesn't make sense at this point. If this expectation had been set before I made the mistake of buying a TYM. They got me, don't let them get you. Why I stayed quiet about this for so long. I genuinely feel bad for the folks that watched my other channel. They bought tractors because of my non-sponsored TYM use on my channel. Several of you have showed up in the comment sections for these videos. I'm not a troll. This isn't made up. I published over 25 videos about my TYM tractor stating how great it was and how well it did and all this other stuff. Hey, then suddenly it wasn't. 2 major systems failed on the machine. The dealer said they were warranted. That's great, but again, how long does it take to get them back? Important thing in the timeline. So one of the important things here in all of this is the timeline. I have made my formal offer to TYM. TYM messaged me, they asked me a question, I responded to it. I'm going to read those here in a second, but at this point, I'm completely stuck. I have made TYM a formal offer, and they just decided they wouldn't respond to me. This was just shy of a month ago, so they've just kind of dropped the ball on this completely. So Stacy Carroll, the TYM attorney, and I, we went back and forth numerous times. What's been established is what I feel is right. I think that some of you would say that's not enough. You need to ask for more. I think some of you would say that's too much. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to edit the dollar figure that I'm requesting out of this, just because I don't want this to go into left field over that. I don't want that to be somehow manipulated against me or used against me. So just kind of hear me out with. So Stacy, Carol, and I have went back and forth several times before this. I'm not going to read you all the back and forth of this and that, but the last two messages I will read to you. These are dated September 17th. Today is October 11th. Tomorrow is Sunday the 12th, so at best it'll be Monday the 13th. That's pretty close to 30 days. We'll call that a month of zero communication from him. Brian, please let me know what compensation you are seeking at this point, and I will pass it on to TYM. And please let me know whether it includes you keeping the tractor or selling it back to the dealer. So again, this message was September 17th. My response, Stacy, as stated in my August message, my demand remains X as compensation, with TYM taking the tractor back. This figure is firm and not open to negotiation. Signed it with my name. So that's it. That's where we're left at. That response was also sent on the same day. There were many communications before that, sometimes 2 in a day, back and forth, and that's kind of where it's been left at. To recap this from the beginning, TYM contacted me. They've let me know that the tractor is done. Great. It's at the dealer. It's done now. 8 or 9 months have passed since I took it. Honestly, I don't even know. I need to go back through my timeline and get everything exact, but I'm going to safely say it's been 8. It hasn't been 10, so we'll call it 8 or 9 months have passed. In that 8 or 9 months, 8 or 9 payments have been drafted from my account for this machine. 20% of the time I have owned this tractor, it's been at the dealer. Here's the problem. I made my offer. As you just heard it, TYM keeping the tractor. Then since then, they've cut off all communication. They've went silent. I can't make an offer to keep the machine and then halfway through it change it. That's not the right thing to do. So I think what TYM is hoping is that I'm going to tap out and that I'm going to run up there and go grab this tractor. This is the series of games that TYM has played with me. They left my tractor torn apart in a dealer for almost a year. One of the previous video comments is actually someone who was in this dealership. They were there looking at tractors, and they made a comment about seeing my tractor in one of the bays there in a big pile. My personal reasoning or interpretation as to why this is all happening, but I'm going to give you my opinion. This is what happens when the inmates run the asylum. TYM North America has no CEO. They had a CEO and a strong leadership team when I bought my tractor. I'm sure that same leadership was there when many of you bought your machines. This has since changed. It shows very strongly. Now it's a skeleton crew of penny pinchers. This is a perfect example of TYM taking advantage of you, the consumer, to save a few bucks in a multinational corporation that shows up in a fairly new market, undercuts the market in price, and then once they've acquired you with their machine, they just start, hedging their positions and firing and undercutting employees. TYM North America is currently being run by a marketing director and a CFO. I'm not supposed to expose this. However, I'm kind of over it at this point. TYM North America has no CEO. This is public knowledge and record. There are some loopholes that allow this. Technically, it's not illegal. However, it is not a moral position to have a company that's set up one way, and then you've got people everywhere rushing out to buy these machines based on your social media presence, and then you completely revamp an entire company, and this is how you leave your customers. Had this been the case when I was researching my tractor company, when I bought, I never would have bought a TYM. I feel like, this is 100% fact. I feel like this is something that this should have been disclosed. There's a loophole this falls into, so I can't technically tell you that it's illegal. It's just a really immoral and super crappy thing to do. TYM North America is currently ran by two people. A marketing director. That gives me a warm and fuzzy, let me tell you. I've known a couple of them in my life. This is the same person who thought it was a good idea to sponsor the Atlanta Braves baseball team before they built a parts warehouse for the hundreds of thousands of tractors they have sold to us here in the U.S. Think about that for a second. What CEO would ever say, who needs parts? What we need to do is sponsor a baseball team. Go Braves! Then we have the CFO, or accountant, for TYM North America. This is a person who studies and analyzes past numbers. They budget for future sales. Again, it's not a leadership role. Maybe since these videos have come out, you have seen the attempts to discredit my story on Facebook. There's actually been several of them. The ads that have been made by TYM that say, we have parts. I mean, they don't come out and say, we have parts, but if you've seen these ads, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I wonder why they're making those ads now. A CEO would say, this is going to lead to millions in lost revenue. YouTube is where 80% of our marketing spend is, and having this guy out there is just going to disturb this space. And well, honestly, he's right. We've had his machine for months upon months, half a year at this point. The right thing to do here is, let's get this taken care of. Maybe he'll make a video saying we did right by him. Honestly, I would have. You guys never would have seen anything of this story. However, when this first went up the corporate chain through the brand ambassador, it was ignored. Everyone at TYM, they knew for months and months and months this was coming, and they completely ignored it. So, do I feel bad about this? No. They've had my tractor for over 20% of the time that I've owned it. That is plain as day, all day long, in every state across this entire country. You cannot do that as a manufacturer. Several TYM dealers have contacted me via social media, complaining about, basically saying, your video is going to wreck me, your video is going to ruin this, and blah, 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 blah. I truly don't have a good answer for you. I guess I don't see how that's my fault. There are people that have hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of this inventory that they bought from TYM, or they're dependent on this because they've spent so much money on marketing, or because they've done so many things over the years with TYM, and then here I come. TYM North America is soon going to start to see the ripple effects of this. The local dealers are already starting to see sales that are slowing, according to what they're messaging me with on social media. That's fact. It's going to continue to get worse before it gets better. I mean, I guess that's the best thing that I can say. I'm in this for the long haul at this point. The tens of thousands of viewers that watch these and don't comment on them, again, keeping in mind we're at thousands of comments on these videos. But what I'm saying is the tens of thousands of you that watch these that don't comment on these videos, you're kind of like the iceberg effect. You're the part under the water. You're the mass. You're the huge ball of ice that they don't see. What TYM sees at this point, because it's being ran by a CFO and a marketing manager, is just a little bit of that iceberg that's poking out of the surface, and that being the couple of thousands of people that have commented.